All right, excellent. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our monthly Navigate Entrepreneur Ecosystem Coffee Break, our first one of 2020. Very happy to say that 1 year ago, we started this pilot between Navigate and myself, and here we are a year later, still going strong. Our numbers are increasing every month, and we're very excited about that. We've got some new folks joining us today, so welcome, and hope you enjoy the session that we have here today. Andrew's not on yet from Riday, but I'll say welcome, bienvenue, because he's our French representative out there. Do want to do a quick land acknowledgement. I'm joining you from the beautiful community of Pasadena, which is on the unceded territory of the Beothuk next to the Mi'kmaq territory. I would also like to recognize the Inuit and Innu in our province. As a quick introduction, because we do have several people and I know we've got a few that need to drop off, so I'm hoping we can get a few things started first. If you can make your way to chat. So in your little control panel, which is on the right-hand side, it may have collapsed. You can click the little arrow at the top. Mine's orange. Some people say theirs is pink. But if you can make your way to chat and just do a quick intro, say hello, who you are, where you are, and the piece that I always like to find out is what location are you joining us from? So what community? And part of that is we like to be able to say that we've reached a number of people in a number of different areas. And I just think it's really kind of neat to see how far and connected. There's Andrew, bienvenue, Andrew. So if over in chat, just say a quick hello to everyone. And so for those that don't know me, I'm Carol Spicer, owner of Spicer Facilitation and Learning. And this is kind of what I do. I've been living in the virtual space for about 8 years. So I've been very, very fortunate during the past year that after the 2 weeks of crickets in the end of March, and then people realized they needed to do things, I've been very, very fortunate to remain in this space and continue to keep busy and keep running. Part of it, however, is not always successful. And so, it's been a very challenging year, 2020, for a lot of businesses. And when Alice and I were looking at kicking off this year, we said, well, what better way to kick off than with success? So we reached out to some local entrepreneurs and we asked them to join us today and talk about their successes of 2021, just to kind of get us all in the right spirit and the right moment. So I'm going to do a quick intro of who they are, but I'm going to turn it to Allison after that to do a welcome on behalf of Navigate, and then we will open up our panel discussions. But for those of you that are on our panel, if you're there on the camera, just say a quick hello or just do a quick wave. We've got Becky and Evan McHugh from Evan MC Productions. We have Connie Boland, who's a writer. I think I'm going to add photographer because she's got fabulous pictures up every day on her Facebook. Kathy Halbert is owner of Western Driving School. Diana Parsons, who's making us all starving and hungry because she's up at Sugar and Dice, and we're talking about sugar this morning. And Daphne Siv, who is owner of Cash is King NL. So thank you, everyone, for agreeing to be our panelists here this morning. So I'm going to turn over to you, Allison, next. If you want to do a quick intro on behalf of Navigate, and then we'll get to our panel discussion.
Okay, welcome everyone. As Carol mentioned, this is sort of the 1 year anniversary of us doing this. We had kind of started moving into the virtual space right before COVID hit, and our timing couldn't have been better in that respect. Carol has been with Navigate for quite some time, going through setting up her business, and now as a partner, which is a great progression to see. And I couldn't think of anyone better to host these events with. She's an excellent facilitator, particularly in this online space. And so we're very grateful to have Carol helping us out with all of this. And as she mentioned today, we wanted to really celebrate the successes of 2020. So what better way than to talk about some new businesses that managed to start fight the the pandemic environment that we're functioning in right now. Before we kick off, I'm just going to mention a little bit about Navigate for anyone who is new and unfamiliar with our services. So Navigate is a partnership between Grenfell campus and College of the North Atlantic campus in Corner Brook. And we help early stage entrepreneurs right from the ideation, like early idea stage, And onward through, we've got a business incubator. We help with business incubation, acceleration. We also have a maker space. And so we help with product and prototype development as well, and then help people get their businesses up and running and commercialize. So we help with business plans, networking resources, anything that you might need to start a business, we're there to support you through. And as I mentioned, we have the different parts to navigate. There's the Entrepreneurship Center, which is located on both campuses, Makerspace, which is on Grenfell campus, and the Business Incubator, which is on the CNA campus. So today's discussion, we hear about all the wonderful successes of our local entrepreneurs this past year, and we really want to, get their feedback of what the experience was of starting this up, because I mean, starting a business is, it's a challenge at any point in time, but during a pandemic you can question, am I really doing this now? Is it the right time? What is the right time? Oh, I'm very sorry, that's my phone ringing in the background. I'm going to put that on mute. Okay, apologies, folks. I usually have it on mute. So yeah, we want to really hear from everyone about how they, got through the many doubts and challenges of this past year, and have come through and made it a success, and are really kicking off 2021 on the right foot.
Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you, Allison. So for me, I'm really excited, as I say, to continue this relationship with Navigate and to meet new people. So there's actually a few people on here that I haven't met before, and 3 of them are panelists. So I'm really excited, and I'm glad that you've agreed to join us. So I'm going to turn to Becky and Evan first. So do you want to tell us who you are and what your business is?
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Becky. This is my brother, Evan.
Yo.
We are with Evan MC Productions, and we are a videography / photography business in Corner Brook, mostly videography, but with COVID, we definitely had to get creative, and we kind of delved into photography a little bit as well. So yeah, our main focus is on videography, and with the pandemic, as I said, we kind of had to step outside of what we were initially going for, and we've been getting into some creative projects that we didn't even initially consider, so that has been exciting.
Okay, excellent. Looking forward to hearing a bit more about that. I'm going to go to Connie next, and then Kathy. So Connie, do you want to do an intro? Tell us who you are and what your business is? We just lost your video, Connie.
Am I back?
Your voice is back, but your video's gone.
Okay, hold on. Sorry about that.
There you go. That's okay.
I'm back.
There you go.
As I say, I'm a freelance journalist here in Corner Brook. Worked in print media, absolutely thoroughly loved it, still love it. Did that for 10 years. Left for childcare reasons, actually. It's a great profession, but it's not very flexible. Returned to it in 2019, and what I'm doing now is I find, as I'm telling people's story, and you're very privileged to be able to tell people's story, and I'm finding that people want to go beyond the initial interviews that I'm doing. So what I'm doing is working with small businesses and nonprofits to form their communications plans and helping them find ways that they can get noticed in the media and telling their stories, finding their voices, making their key messages, and just helping them realize, I think, what their stories are, and just having a ball. I'm brand new at it. The pandemic actually is helping me because people are having to pivot, and they're realizing that they need to be out in the media, and there's different ways of getting in the media. So I'm actually really, like I say, brand new, about a month, and having a ball so far. That's
Okay.
a little bit of me.
Excellent. Thank you. Talking about pivot, Kathy Halbert, you're up next. And tell us about your business and how you had to pivot.
Cut out a bit.
I'm just saying that you're up next and talking about pivot. So if you want to tell us about who you are, your
Oh,
business,
no,
and how
I
you
thought
had to change.
Yeah, sorry. No, I thought you said Kathy. Sorry.
Yeah, that's you. I'm
that's
talking
me.
to you. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. My name is Kathy. I own Western Driving School. I worked with the government, federally and provincially, for 31 years. 9 of those years I was a driver examiner. After I left that field, I went on teaching driving school with the 2 local companies at the time, Western Driving School and Safety NL. Then I decided to buy Western Driving School. So a lot of sounding boards I can see here, 2 of which, Carla and Carol. I'm not a risk taker. So this was a big issue for me. So I don't take risks with anything. I also see Lynn there too. She was a sounding board at some point as well. So I had a lot of sounding boards. I had a lot of support. So right now, during the pandemic, I had to close for 3 months because I couldn't have in-class sessions. So I had to also come up with creative ways to be able to open up my doors to have revenue coming in. It took a very long time to get it done, a lot of hours to make presentations to government officials because they weren't susceptible to having the novice program or any of the programs that we teach online. So with the help of Carol as Zoom and online, and with my IT, I was able to finally convince government to let me go online. And my business has flourished. Since then, I have purchased another driving school in Stephenville. And I'm looking at purchasing another one shortly. So that's about it.
So you've gone from not taking risks to be a mega business owner there, girl.
Oh yeah. They tell me I'm very assertive now.
What a shift.
That's it.
Oh, absolutely.
Way to go.
Yep, wonderful.
And it's still working too.
And still working. There you go. God love you.
Yeah.
Daphne, your mic's open, so I'm going to turn to you then. Do you want to tell us who you are and what you're at?
Sure, thank you. Well, Happy New Year to everyone. Nice to see everyone. I've seen some of you along the way in different avenues. I think Enlo, probably Board of Trade, as well as with Carol. With me, I've been in the corporate world for about 30 years in the capacity of accounts receivable specialist. Basically, my passion is, and it's kind of, I know it may sound very boring to some of you, but was always interested in numbers and relationships. And when I started in my career, I just started back in Montreal, when I lived in Montreal as accounts receivable clerk or analyst, and really fell in love with the fact that I can talk to customers in a really friendly way and entice them to pay on time. And it's about relationship and really building organic relationships. And when people think about organic, and I'll talk about my presentation, to me, organic is natural, authentic, and really healthy. And that's basically the type of person I am, and I've always have been. So really working with, I worked for a large organization, helping them with the accounts receivable, collecting cash, so they can grow, profitably grow, and then working internally with different departments to ensure that our customers are happy, so they can pay us, as well as ensure that the customer is credit worthy or not. Either way, to figure that out really is where I'm at. So as in last year, as no fault of my own, I lost my job, and I decided to, maybe try this as a consultant. And of course, COVID hit, and I'm just still at it, trying to figure out how to get myself into the market and into really helping companies with the skill sets that I have. That is quite vast. And I'll talk more about my presentation about it, but hopefully that's kind of give you a little bit of a picture of what I'm about. Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you, Daphne, and welcome. And Diana, this is probably a tough time of day for you to be able to join us, so very happy you're able to.
It is, and I thank you guys for inviting me. It's something that I've always wanted to do, so I was really excited when Allison called. My name is Diana Parsons, and I am a co-owner of Sugar and Dice, a board game cafe here in Corner Brook, Newfoundland. I'm from Deer Lake, and I grew up there my whole life and moved to Corner Brook, I think it was probably 12 years ago. I finished my business administration at the College of the North Atlantic and started work at the school board as an accounts payable clerk, and then moved my way up to the accounting manager there, which I'd done for probably, I'm going to say 9 years. And lost my job to the amalgamation there, and went on to study my business degree with MUN through distance and take care of my 2 children. So once I finished my degree, I started work as the business manager at Northridge Developments, which is where I am right now. I'm the business manager here for Northridge Developments, North Tech Engineering, and Metal Specialty. And I also help run Sugar and Dice in the evenings, as well as be a single mom and try to live somewhat of my life as well. So I'm really, I think with entrepreneurs, it's something, I already had a very busy life, but it's something that you just can't, it just doesn't die inside of you. You really want to open a business, and it no matter what, you're always looking for that. So that's kind of how Sugar and Dice started.
Excellent. So we ran a workshop earlier this year, or in 2020, about starting a business in a pandemic. And, part of the conversation we wanted to get started was, you can still do it. And, here we are, we've got these folks who have either started or acquired businesses during the pandemic. But I'm going to start with you, Diana, for this question. Did you or your partner ever doubt opening a business during the pandemic?
So there's 3 of us, Joanne Jones and Denise Rogers are my 2 partners, and we, all 3 of us equally share ownership of Sugar and Dice. And on the financial side of it, and of course there's some doubt in something so unknown. Even at my job here at Northridge, trying to figure out how businesses are going to survive, let alone opening a business during such an unknown state. It was quite difficult. However, we knew we were onto something. We knew it was bold to try to open especially something in the hospitality or service area of Corner Brook. It was definitely a risk to take, but we believed in the project, and we did test the market, which was, I think, a smart move on our part, just to make sure that we wouldn't fail, I guess. And so we worked hard, and I'm proud to say that we decided to continue on and go ahead with our plans with a few changes.
Mm-hmm. May I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Yes,
how did you test the market? What did you do in order to kind of get a good feel for that?
So Sugar and Dice is made up of both a board game cafe and specialty suites. Because of the specialty suite side, we were able to survive in the pandemic. The board game side would not have. I don't think that I would have opened it if it was just the type of business plans that I had created for a board game cafe. But when Joanne and Denise and I got together, and you brought the 2 dreams together and started talking about how both of them kind of mesh well together, it worked. And so when COVID was at its worst in April, and here in Corner Brook, and I'm sure everywhere else in Newfoundland, the businesses were shut down completely, we met together and talked, and I said, I think we're really missing out on something here. People are craving to be able to say hello to their loved ones and tell them that they miss them and they wish that they could see them. And by delivering our cookies, which are about 9-inch cookies, they're very large and they're decorated very beautifully, but they have personalized messages on them, so they could be very personal to from one person to another. It could be "I miss you." We had one that said extension cords. I still don't know what that meant, but you know, it's something that's personal between those two people. It was non-contact. There was press releases out that COVID wasn't being transmitted through food handling. So we were able to open up our baked goods to be only delivered through non-contact delivery. And it was different, it was unique, and it also allowed people to give a hug without contact. And I think that's why it worked. It was smart on our part to try to check out the market in a different way than what we had originally planned. And it allowed us to really crunch the numbers and see if we thought that we could survive in the cafe setting.
Excellent. Very good. Becky, you mentioned earlier. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I think too, you cornered your own market in terms of the products you're offering, because it's a little high end compared to what you can find in most locations in Corner Brook, and it's something that didn't exist, you know, locally before.
I think, you know, you tend to focus on, I think us as humans tend to focus on negative, and I guess I'd be jumping all over the place, because this would be part of my advice is, you know, we're going to hear negative comments, but there's an obvious desire for people to have something that's pretty and higher end, and there is a market that doesn't mind spending the money for the time and the quality ingredients that it takes to produce what we produce. So why not go for it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you. So Becky, you mentioned that, you know, you had to shift and adjust. So can you tell us a bit more about how the pandemic changed that? And did you ever doubt your decision to start the business or keep it going?
Yeah, so to be honest, we did and we didn't doubt our decision to start the business. So I'll just let Evan start with how he kind of got into it, just your hobby. And
well, I've sort of been, videography and just camera work in general. I sort of started when I was around 15, I guess, and it's always been sort of a hobby, just filming, you know, funny little skits with a few of my buddies. And over the last, I guess, year or two, I sort of got a bit more knowledge with cameras and how to make a decent type of video. So yeah,
so then about I'm gonna say early fall or end of summer, early fall, we kind of just both found ourselves at a crossroads in our lives. We had moved home from St. John's, and we literally just sat at the kitchen table one night and decided, why don't we just try to make this work? I have a business degree and an English degree, and my passion is in storytelling. And so videography is all about telling a story, no matter what type of video you are doing. So we decided to combine forces, and I decided to take on the business side of it and the idea generating side of it. And Evan is our lead videographer and our lead editor. And so we actually make a really great team. We kind of fill in each other's, I guess, holes, if you will. And we definitely did actually have to shift a little bit in terms of what we were initially going for. So when we first started talking about it, we were like, let's just focus on weddings. We spoke to a few photographers in town who are very well known, and they said there's a big gap for that service in Corner Brook and the West Coast in general. So we got really excited about that, and then we realized there's no weddings happening right now. There's a few, but like very, very slim options out there for weddings. So we said, okay, we're gonna have to get creative and look into other types of videos. And so Luckily, we have a father who is a local musician, and we started by making a music video for him. And that actually took off. It has how many views? Like 130,000 views on Facebook, and it wound up on CTV News. So that was a great place to start. And then we got inquiries from other local musicians. So we ended up making another one for another one in town that's soon to be released. And we're getting more inquiries from more musicians, so that's been great. We did a family keepsake video for some of our little cousins, and that was pretty successful as well. We got some inquiries for more family keepsake videos. It was kind of something that people didn't know that they actually wanted, so that was interesting. And we're doing a series for MUN right now for the nursing school to talk about their nursing program. So that kind of opens doors for other learning institutions who want to make some information videos. And I think that's about it. We've got some interesting inquiries for things that we haven't even really considered before. And so we also have started recently working with a local business for a commercial video, and so we didn't consider commercial videos until now. So the pandemic definitely shifted our focus quite a bit, I would say. Initially going into it for just weddings, and now ending up with all these different projects. So it's been great overall.
That's fantastic. Excellent. I know the commercial thing just went off in my head because I know, and I'm going to call on Sharon, who's not one of our speakers as a panelist, but certainly has been a panelist before. Sharon, you're looking at you're working with a videographer right now yourself, aren't you, doing videos of some of your work? Just unmute. Oh yeah, you're unmuted in my system, but it's not working, so I'm not sure what you're connecting with. You're still muted up there, Sharon, and it's not picking up whatever microphone you're using. So I'll just talk to it a little bit while you're figuring that out. But Sharon's looking to move some of her business online, and so she's actually doing videos to do recorded sessions because not able to do the live in person. So certainly, and you know, there's other folks I know as well that are looking at doing that digital piece. So I can see that commercial as being a huge opportunity for us small businesses to try to promote. Connie, Alison, you go ahead.
In that respect, just from the number of businesses that we deal with, you know, yoga studios, things like what Sharon's doing, real estate, personal fitness. There's so many people who are going online who typically weren't before. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity in a number of different areas now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been definitely really an interesting experience to go through this in a pandemic, but we also realize that there is going to be an end to the pandemic, and a lot of weddings are being booked for 2022. So that's exciting as well.
There you go. And Paul will be happy about that, as Paul the DJ is on here as well, if some of those weddings start to come back. Connie, Becky talked about hitting the CTV News, and that made me think of you, because you said in your intro that some of what you're trying to help clients with is how do we get recognized in the media? And I can tell you, I'm seeing your name everywhere, like Down Home, Western Star, online. So you're living it. What can we do? What can you help us with?
I think the biggest thing for people to realize is there's little ways to get into media. To set yourself up as an expert so that the media has you on speed dial. So, you know, you're the expert that they go to if something should come up. Say, for argument's sake, let me think of a good example. Say we want to do a road safety, you know, your CBC is looking to do a road safety issue because it's winter and we need to know how to drive. Well, let's see if they can think of going to the person who owns a driving school. So I'm working with people to get your name in front of CBC or in front of the media so that you become their expert source. You're the person they think of going to. Does it mean you're going to be in the media every other day? No, but you're on their speed dial. So I'm helping people recognize that that's skills that they can have in their back pocket, getting their messages wrapped around ideas like that. Evan and Becky are young entrepreneurs. So if, for argument's sake, I've got their names now, so if I know Saltwire or Down Homer is looking to do a story about young entrepreneurs, they come to my mind. So it's getting yourself out there in different ways like that. Sugar and Dice is a prime example of, you know, we think that Corner Brook might be glutted in that kind of industry, but it's not. So you go to someone like Diana and talk about that. You go to a mom or someone like, there's a couple of us I noticed who lost our jobs and now we're going into entrepreneurship. So, you know, I was talking to Atlantic Business Magazine the other day and they're looking for people like us. They're looking for women who had lost their jobs and they're becoming entrepreneurs. So I think it's working with the businesses to help you realize there's other ways to be in media and there's little hooks and stuff like that. So it's not all about just sending out that news release. So that's very important too. So I'm working with you to make a news release that gets noticed, maybe not tomorrow, but it's long term. And I'm helping also around that, build your communications plan so that you have that. You have this plan that's going to take you from now to what if the media calls. So, you know, let's get Kathy out there as an expert source because it's winter driving. Let's get, you know, us ladies who lost our jobs and we've made big decisions and this is what we're doing. I've been there, right? I've done that. We're parents, we're grandparents. So we have so much to offer to different media and there's so many different hooks, I guess is what I'll call it for lack of a better way. And I'm also doing media training. If you put a news release out there, say you're Diana and you put a news release out there and we're having a grand opening and life is good and the media show up, you have to be prepared for the other questions. Okay, Diana, what do you got out there for gluten-free people? What do you got out there? What are your COVID-19 protocols is the big question everybody gets asked. So I'm working to view your key messages. I'm working with you to realize that if you put yourself in front of the media, there's always a downside, which we don't tend to think about that, but working yourself around so that you know what else can happen. I really like that part of it because as a journalist, I've been the person that sat in the hospital waiting room and waited for somebody to come out and say, okay, you just waited for 3 hours, so now we're going to nail somebody to the wall. So it's helping, I think, people realize the good and the bad side. We're really lucky in Corner Brook. We got great media, but you got to think beyond Corner Brook. If you put yourself out there to a national magazine, and it does happen, we do get picked up, then just be ready for it. For example, I was working with one gentleman, and he sent a news release and had no uptake, none. So we just happened to have a conversation, and since I started working with them, he's been on CBC, he's been in the Down Homer, he's been with Saltwire, and he just had a call yesterday from a national media. So there's just little hooks, I think, that I find it hard to explain, but that ways to get you guys out there and different ways to get noticed.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what was her full name? What was her full name?
My name?
Yeah, the one just speaking, because I can't see, unfortunately, everybody.
Connie Boland.
Connie Boland. Thank you, Connie.
I'm still new. I don't even have a business name yet. I'm working on it. I kind of want to use my whole name, and I kind of want to just use my name. My husband says, well, maybe we should use everybody's name, so I'm just yeah.
I went through the same thing, and I went through that my brand is me, so that's why there's Spicer in my business name.
It's so hard. It's really hard to talk about yourself and to say what you do, and I don't know why it's so hard, but it is.
Allison, go ahead.
If anyone wants to put a description of their, like just their business name or, you know, your own name and a brief description of your business and key contact info, we follow up every month with a newsletter where we reiterate that information, you know, from these particular coffee breaks, because we're trying to promote local businesses. We want to share that information and get you out there. So if you'd like to put your information in chat, I'll be certain to include that in the next newsletter. And just a quick note on that front as well, we've got a new website that's going to be launched soon, and there is a built-in business directory. So we can also you can appear in the business directory if you're interested.
Excellent. So we got Becky and Evan are going to make us videos. Connie's going to get us hit on the media, and Daphna's going to tell us how we can get paid for all that stuff and collect our money. So Daphna, do you want to tell us a bit more about cash flow and how important I mean, we all know that as business owners how important it is, but did you doubt your decision at all about opening this business during this time?
I'm tell the truth, I was nervous about it, no doubt, especially coming from experience of large corporations. That's my background, is working with large organizations such as Siemens, Nike, LG, and most recently Inmarsat Solutions here in Newfoundland, who actually recruited me here to Newfoundland. And I since fell in love with the province and definitely want to stay. So yeah, I mean, opening my own business, especially in a community that I don't know anybody. My network was my people I worked with and my friends that I've made over the last 4 years. But since I've joined this community, yourself, Enlo, and Board of Trade, I've met such just amazing individuals, and I'm excited and nervous at the same time. It's really slow for me a little bit because my concept as a consultant to help companies manage their cash flow and collect on their receivables it's very different as a consultant. Companies are not as open to hire someone as a consultant, and that's what I'm trying to do. So what I'm doing right now is basically looking at jobs that I would normally apply for and just applying it in more of a consultant basis. And it's still not a concept many are willing to entertain. And so I'm a person that doesn't give up. When I have a goal, I usually exceed my goals. So I've set a couple of goals. I set obviously a professional goal to try and get my business out there, and I'm giving it a try. And as you know, and I'm looking at other opportunities. If this doesn't work for me, which I hope it does, because I've got so much to offer small, large, and medium companies, in the sense that, you know, cash is king. We all need cash in order to grow. We also all need to know, and the thing is that I really value in my personality and my field is really relationships. And a professional, and on a professional level is a different type of relationship than it is on a personal level, because at a professional level, I'm really here to help someone and work for them and really help them get to where they need to go. And managing your receivables is really, really important, and understanding how to be efficient around it, and especially now with artificial intelligence coming into play. And we always look at artificial intelligence, the future. Well, the future is here. Many companies can really benefit about artificial intelligence in the accounts receivable aspect, and I'm sure in other areas of the business. And I'm working with a couple of artificial intelligence companies and letting them know that as soon as I have some clients, I definitely would like to introduce them to their product and see how we can help them together. So yeah, it is scary. I must admit, I have a few anxieties here and there, which I'm not used to having. But I keep reading about just keep positive. You know, when you get scared, the way I look at it, when I get scared, just stop, change, just do something else to distract me, and then, you know, things will work out. But listening to some of the ladies out here, that you've all taken chances, and obviously, you know, with the right support and the right attitude, and you know, as Diana said, do a little bit of research and really, you know, and hopefully partner with some people. There is, you know, there is opportunities out there, and I'm really excited to be able to jump on that train with everybody and, you know, be part of that as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, I was in the same position as yourself and Connie. Hard to believe, but in April it'll be 4 years when my position was eliminated in the organization that I was with. And I'll be starting my 4th year in business in February. I'll be 3 years done and entering into year 4. So looking back, you know, hindsight always helps, or distance helps, I guess. I would say that my organization gave me a gift because it prompted me to take this leap. I wouldn't have taken the leap. I wouldn't have left a paid job to do this. So I was kind of pushed out the door. I think of Becky and Evan, you know, young folks that are saying, let's take our side hustle or our hobby. My daughter's in 3rd year university who wants to open a bakery someday. I might connect her to Diana if she ever gets home, if she's ever allowed back home. She's over in New Brunswick. And, you know, looking at taking those little side hustles or those skills that we do have, because when you're in those positions, you're kind of faced with, my gosh, what do I have? What can I do? But I often say now, and I mean, this is my mantra, I'm not looking for a job, I'm looking for work. It is a whole different look. It's a whole different feel when you're looking for a contract, you're not looking for a position. So hats off to you, Daphne. Stay the course. you've got this
Yep.
network that's here to support you, and we'll all do it as much as we possibly can.
And you know what? I got great support. I see Carla May there, and I've got such wonderful ladies from Enlo and yourselves. I mean, it's open. It really did. You know, like I said, I fell in love with Newfoundland. I'm even falling in love with it even more. Just getting the people here are just I tell you, one of a kind in the world. I've traveled around the world, and this is a place that I want to be. So
Yeah, I think
kudos to you.
the Newfoundland is vast as far as geography. We've got some empty spaces in our province, but it's certainly small as far as network, and you can really leverage the network that's here and make those connections for sure.
Yeah.
As we used to tell our daughters when we moved here from Ontario, you're probably related to half the people, including your teachers, your classmates, and everybody else. So just be a little careful of what you say.
Yeah.
So I remember my daughter coming home one day saying, so-and-so thought I was cute. I said, just so you know, he's your third cousin.
Oh boy, yeah. That's cute.
Well, I didn't think he was cute. I said, well, there you go.
There you go. I'm putting myself on mute.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not discounting our panelists here because I got a couple more questions for you, but I want to open it up now to the other folks that are on the call. And I thought I'd jump to Sheldon first, and then I'm going to go to Lynn and Alan. Because Sheldon, you're a public speaker, you're a keynote speaker. So your thoughts on media and those kinds of things. Do you want to, I know you've got some webcam and noise issues there, but if you're able to open up, do you want to tell us a little bit about you? Sheldon's just put something in chat. Yep. So, because I do know he mentioned earlier he's got some stuff on the go. So yes, absolutely. Excellent, Sheldon. Thank you. So Lynn and Alan, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm wondering if one or both of you would like to tell us a bit about who you are and what's on the go with you.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
I had some audio difficulties earlier. Alan, feel free to join in. We're actually in the same house, but we really do like each other, and we enjoy spending time with each other. But when it comes to work, we go to our separate quarters. Yeah, so we're Alan and Lynn. Kendall, where to start? Oh, Brent and Paul have heard more about our story than anybody, I think. Okay. I'm actually a professor at Grenfell, okay? I'm a business professor. Alan is, we have another business, which is not really kind of the one we're going to talk about today, but Alan, we have a business that Alan has been running for the last, oh gosh, I don't even know how many years now. We're both chartered professional accountants. So a few years ago, we decided we were going to start up a hospitality business. So we entered in the world of tourism with quite a bit of help from Brent and Paul. We opened Appalachian Chalets and RV. This January begins our third year of operation. So we are what many people would refer to as the old tube park. That's where we exist right now. So we have 7 chalets and an RV park there. And the plan was always at some point to open a restaurant, and the plan was in March to open that restaurant. But unfortunately, the world had other plans, and so we didn't actually get to open. And we didn't really know in March. You think about those of us that were in business at that time, think about what the world was like then. We didn't know, we didn't know if our business was going to survive because everything was shutting down. People weren't allowed to come in the province. We just didn't know. Things turned out a little different from us from our chalet rental perspective, because all of a sudden people still had to come to Corner Brook, be it for work or to visit family or whatever. These were other Newfoundlanders, so people weren't coming in from the other province. People were coming from St. John's or Central or Labrador, maybe for medical appointments and so on. And they needed a place to stay that they felt was safe. And our chalets offered that opportunity for them. So because of the safety protocols we had in place, because of each unit is self-contained, you weren't bumping into other guests and so on. So we actually ended up picking up quite a bit of business because in addition to a couple of other hotels shut down temporarily, but we were also able to offer a product that guests felt comfortable with. So again, the restaurant didn't open, but as restrictions start to be lifted over the summer, as restaurants could reopen at lower capacity and so on, we decided that we would go ahead and open. We had our staff in place, we had our cooks, we were just ready to go. Everything was ready. We had, the kitchen was everything was in place. So we opened in September. So it's the Wayward Spruce is the name of our restaurant. It's part of our chalet development. So we opened in September, and October we could see, you know, we were growing at a fairly steady pace. And then 12 Months, 12 Miracles decided to help the local restaurant community by starting this burger competition, which really took us completely by surprise. It was something that we weren't prepared to have that growth in business so quickly and virtually overnight. I mean, Alan can attest, because there were times that Alan and I were actually over there washing dishes, cutting vegetables, making burgers, because, and again, we're two CPAs, we're not cooks. Trying to keep up with the demand. And so it kind of was a little bit, wasn't what we were expecting. And really, you know, the opening happened, 6 months later than anticipated, but we were very pleased with what has happened so far. We're planning some other changes. The restaurant will still keep going. We're quite pleased with it. We did close for a few weeks over Christmas. We reopened yesterday. But we used to have what we call a convenience store, or Alan called a mini mart. They're kind of for the guests of the chalets. But we're actually going to change that now and create more of a gift shop, homewares type of store. So in addition to the restaurant, the chalets, the RV park, we will have more of a gift store. And we want to focus and we want to spotlight local crafters and artists. So we've just met with our assistant manager, who will be compiling a list of what we can find. So if anybody knows of a network of local artisans or crafters who has a product that they want to be able to sell in our store, we'd be very interested in that type of product as well. So yeah, so it's been a busy it took us a year to build the chalet, so the last 3 years have been a bit busy. So yes, talk about the side hustle. Yeah, it's been quite a bit of a side hustle for us.
Yeah, your side hustle is taking way more hours than most people's side hustle, I think.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sharon, is your microphone working now? Are we able to connect with you, do you think? You're unmuted in our system, but it's not picking up whatever microphone that is trying to pick up. So I do want to, if you click on audio, Sharon, the little plus sign next to the audio in the little control panel, you might be able to choose a different microphone. Nope, still not there. I'm going to jump to some of the folks that we could not be business owners without, since many of you have already given shout outs to, and that would be the Carla, Brent, Andrew, and Pauls of our world, who have certainly supported us, guided us, connected us. I know it was Carla that said, can Connie meet with you? And I'm like, yep. So Connie and I met, and at that time Sugar and Dice wasn't available, or we probably would have been there. So, but we connected. That was back when you could connect in person. And so these folks are really instrumental in building that network for us and keeping us going. So I'm going to kind of start out on the Francophone area of the province. Mr. Andrew Hibbets, if you want to say a quick hello and let us know what's going on out your way and what you're hearing from businesses.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Andrew Hibbets. I do see some new faces. I'm an economic development officer for the west coast of Newfoundland with Red A TNL. So we are a bilingual economic development organization. We're all across the province, but I'm the only, I guess, person with the organization here in Western Newfoundland. Our office is out on the Port-au-Port Peninsula in mainland, or in French, La Grande Terre. And basically, we offer a variety of services. It ranges from immigration, tourism, entrepreneurship, employability for job seekers and whatnot. We actually launched a new website, which I'll put over in the chat after I'm done speaking, and you can check it out because it might help. You know, there's so much information, but it might give you a better idea of what it is that we offer. But if there's anyone here that's bilingual or, you know, francophone, I can certainly help you with any of your business needs and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you all.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Carol,
We
can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead, Sharon.
Thank you. I've been having technical difficulties since I signed on this morning, but one thing I'm not is a quitter. The only thing I ever quit was smoking.
There you go.
So
Me
thank
too.
you, everybody. Carol, I can't remember what you asked me now. What was it I was going to answer or talk
Originally,
about?
the very first time was I was mentioning to Becky and Evan that you're looking at doing videos for your business to move you online. So that's been
Yes,
you've had to do through the pandemic, isn't it?
I have. I've had to shift my business, and Sam is Sam Living is the entrepreneur I'm working with, and I've also worked with Gatcher in Corner Brook, Karen Brown. She does some videographies too. I did a video about 5 years ago with her about my business and my startup. It's COVID and the pandemic really did push me in a different direction. And one thing I'm noticing this morning about all the entrepreneurs here, you're very bold. And I'm becoming bolder. I'm a meditation instructor, and I used to tiptoe around that subject about meditation, spirituality, as if it wasn't something that we were all partaking in. But now I'm after getting bolder, and I'm not apologizing for my entrepreneurship or my business. So I am out there, and I had said in the chat, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, most of my energies, most of my time, my resources, my money goes into marketing and trying to get this business out there recognized. I've been 6 years plugging away. I've been in touch with every different kind of media, from CBC, NTV, Rogers. I've done interviews with Rogers, with the, don't let me forget your name, Wendy Woodland, with whom I love. And I've anytime there's a talk show on, I can get on there. So I said I need a hook. I need a big hook. 6 years in, this is my 6 years. I'm 6 years doing this business. I almost need an Oprah Winfrey. I need that person who's going to say, "Come on, guys, like, give her the platform." And so that's what my business is all about. And this is where I am. So the videos, I'm going to have them on my website. And so I'm moving in a different direction, and I'm loving it. And I'm so thankful for these opportunities. Thanks, Carol.
Excellent. Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah.
Mr. Decker, I want to say hello to everybody. I love your acronyms, letters extraordinaire in your introduction in chat.
Yes.
Took me a minute, but I figured them all out.
Work for government, so we talk in TLFAs, which are 2 to 5 letter acronyms. So yes, my name is Brent Decker. I'm an economic development officer here in Corner Brook with the relatively newly named Department of Industry, Energy, and Technology. And if the rumor mill is correct and we're going into election soon, God knows what that'll be post-election. Yeah, it's great to hear news stories of new businesses opening up, especially in the tough, challenging times. We had a staff meeting I guess just before Christmas, and some people talked about how a lot of their clients were business as usual. And I said, well, what I'm seeing or hearing is it's a lot of business as unusual, in the sense that things are moving along, just not in the way that they've always been moving along. So it's good to see people adapting and moving forward. So congratulations and kudos to all of you. In terms of our department, where our mandate is to grow the economy or help grow the economy, we offer a variety of both financial and non-financial programs and services to a number of strategic sectors. If you want more details, certainly reach out and we can have a chat. If there's anything we can do to help, we will. If there's anything we can't do, we won't. And I'll certainly tell you, but we'll point you in the right direction of other supports, be it financing through the BDC or the CBDCs or the chartered banks or whatever, or refer you on to our good friends at Enlo or Rede or whatever the case may be. So that's it.
Absolutely. And Brent will tell you, because I had a meeting with him. He said, yeah, Carol, you don't fit. You don't fit any of our programs, but here's who you need to know. And every time Brent says, have you spoken to so-and-so? I always say, no, give me an intro. And he will. He'll do the email introduction and I'll connect with that person. So sometimes, as you say, it's not just the finance stuff, it's the actual connections and, you know, at your level and who you're seeing, being able to put people together, which is really important. I'll go to Carla and then Paul.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Great. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Allison. Great to be here. Nice to see everybody. I'm Carla May. I work with ENLO, which is Newfoundland and Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs. We help women start and grow their businesses. I'm a startup advisor, so I work with women within their first year of business to help you get started. If you need a business number, if you need a business plan, whatever you need, we do what we can to help you get that up and running. Past that, once you are fully set up, then I would introduce you to my colleague Marvella Wells. She is a growth advisor, so she can take you to the next stage of your business to bring on employees, market outside your usual area, whatever that might include. Marvella is there. She also runs a mastermind group and has other opportunities for growth. So if you're beyond the first year, certainly reach out to Marvella.
Mm-hmm.
My region is from Port of Math to St. Anthony and everywhere in between. So we are available to go meet with clients. We are free of charge and we're happy to help.
Absolutely. Couldn't have done it without Carla. She got me started. And Enlo certainly opened up a world of connections and you're, you know, as a female entrepreneur or even a business owner, that I think it's Carla, if the business is 50% owned by female, they can also become a member of Enlo.
Anybody can be a member of Enlo.
Yeah.
We have a lot of just employees, staff members are more than welcome, and we're happy to sit and chat and help anybody out.
Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you. And Enlo offers a number of workshops as well that as a member, you're able to attend. Most of them at a either free or a nominal charge versus non-members. There's lots of value in that membership, and just the network alone is fantastic.
So visit our website. There's an events tab where you can see all of the upcoming information sessions, training, workshops, networking. Are all listed there and they're open to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, there's one central networking and Nicole Bruce is going to be talking about branding at that one. So that's a neat one coming up for sure. Paul's just thrown over some info over in chat. Mr. Taylor, who is a neighbor of mine, I get to see driving by, not only works with government, is also a DJ and has his own business on the side. And I don't know, Paul, I don't know if ladies' night's going to happen at the chalet this year.
Fingers are crossed. I love ladies' night.
Because I think that's one of your biggest events.
It is. Paul Taylor and 120 women. It's not a bad situation, let me tell you.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Hi, folks. I guess you can hear me. Sorry you can't see my camera. I do have a problem with GoToMeetings with this platform. But I am a tourism development officer with just told Friday, actually, that I'm with the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts and Recreation. I've been really busy over the last little while, like Brent. Our government has been trying to provide some stimulus support for sectors of our economy, looking after tourism development officers. And right now what's keeping me busy as well is our artisan community. So trying to get some funds out to those struggling artists it's going well, and hopefully that program will stay open. But the tourism one is closing on January 29th. So if anybody hasn't applied already, please tell your neighbors and apply for those support monies. And all this information is located on our departmental webpage. You can find that there. I too am kept busy once, twice, 3 times at least a week talking to people about new startups in the tourism sector, which is really encouraging, absolutely. So hopefully people will still see value in starting businesses that will be appealing to our non-residents who want to come visit us, because they do still want to come visit us. We will be in a very competitive environment when the borders do all open up, whether that be provincial borders or and on the national scene, because a lot of our visitors come from outside of Canada as well, but primarily from within Canada. And we will be in steep competition with everyone. So you're going to have to get your A game on. And I know everybody's been spending a lot of time with training and webinars. We also are offering right now as a government a non-repayable contribution of 75% of some of your marketing needs. So that's a conversation that folks can have with Brent in particular, if you're within that Corner Brook pocket. But there are a number of economic development officers throughout the province if people are outside of the region. Or if Brent is really busy and inundated, then we'll figure out how to get your applications moving forward. But that's a really good program. It's probably one of the best in Canada, actually, where we normally provide a 50% subsidy towards your marketing needs, whether that be website, social media training, signage. The gamut is far and wide. And a lot of people in Western Newfoundland in particular have been taking advantage of that program we have now, where it's bumped up to a 75% contribution. And I mean, that shows you got skin in the game, and shows you're committed, and shows that you still see value in making your business successful and encouraging people to come visit you when the borders do open up. I'm not sure if there's any other. Those are some of the usual programs that I talk about. Andrew's on the call. We've done some tourism planning sessions, in particular out in the Port-au-Port area. We've done them throughout the Bay of Islands as well. Corner Brook has this thing called STAR. Alan's been heavily involved in that one as well. There's some things, great things progressing throughout the Bay of Islands, in particular when it comes to the implementation of those programs with trail development. Hopefully there's going to be another conversation about a greater marketing presence as well. But that's up to the stakeholders, and in particular, I guess, the City of Corner Brook to kind of drive that bus. Myself and Brent, Sonia, Mark Tierney from ACOA, we're all sitting around that table to try and encourage and keep it moving. And I think that's, I don't have anything else to share unless anybody has any particular questions.
So just kind of speaking out from what we're hearing here today, Paul, and for yourself or Brent, could we hire Connie as our media, give us our communications to help with our messaging, and get Becky and Evan to film us a video under that 75% plan?
Yeah, potentially.
Okay. So we need to be in the tourism sector with that slant, right? For that program?
The business needs to be in one of our strategic sectors. So tourism is one of them. Manufacturing, exporting, technology, anything that grows the economy. We typically don't do anything related to service or retail, but so it's about growth as opposed to spinning money around within the economy.
Right. Okay.
So, for example, with Alan and Lynn, they mentioned we provided some, support or been involved from day one with the accommodations. We weren't involved anything with the convenience store or the restaurant.
Right. Okay.
As an example.
As an example. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And that's where you and I have always had the, Carol, you're up to the line, but you can't cross it because you're not in one of them sectors. But for those that are on the call, if you're in those emerging industries, then that's the way to go for sure.
Carol,
Allison, jump in.
I've been getting people's Facebook and website pages and information just kind of populating in chat there. I'd encourage anyone on the call to like and share information about each other's businesses. You know, that's another really great way to grow contacts and to get your message out there. Connie and Davna, I wasn't able to find something for you, and I didn't want to share your personal information without your permission. So if you want anything, if you want to put something in chat there again so that people can reach out to you, then I encourage you to do that.
Absolutely, excellent. So I'm going to go back to our panelists, and I'm going to ask you, and I think I'm going to go to Diana because you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but sort of as our wrapping question, our closing question, what advice would you give someone thinking of starting a business now?
Yeah, thank you. So we've been talking a lot about networking here, and that's kind of the whole point of what we're doing, I guess. And I think that networking is one of the key things, the key advice that I would give to someone who's looking to open a business is to make sure that you have people in your contacts. I was very fortunate. I know I worked to get to where I am. And it's a lot to do with me, and that's the reason why I'm here. But I couldn't do it without all of the support that I have created and figured out, I guess, along the way. And a lot of my knowledge has to do with my current job and how I've networked with different people and different banks and different lenders and accountants and also the business owner here, just being able to throw out some ideas and get other people's advice and learn from that, learn from other people's experiences and those types of things. So I think that networking is probably one of the most important things. The other piece of advice that I always give is to make sure that you have good financials, projections, a good business plan. That piece is so important, and it's something that a lot of us don't recognize how much work is involved in just getting an idea off the ground. It's not even seeing anything come to fruition. It's just getting your ideas on paper, finding out how much everything's going to cost, and crunching the numbers and trying to see how far you can go with that. That is an extremely important part that I think a lot of us miss. I do think that that's part of the reason why my partners and I could be successful is because I had the knowledge in that end. And in a partnership, which we don't all have, but that can be difficult as well. So it's trusting each other and communicating with each other and making sure the lines are open. I think that's one of the most important things in a partnership side of a business is to make sure that things aren't being misunderstood, and we all have differences of opinions, every one of us. So it's really important to be able to work together, and that would make or break you kind of thing. So by seeing each other's strengths and really pulling on what each of you can bring to the table can really help grow your business. It's very beautiful in that way when you kind of just let your guard down and trust and lean on people. One other thing, if I can, that I wanted to say about advice. I think in my era, my age, there's a lot of pressure on being a mom and doing it all and working a full-time job and doing it all and wanting to open a business and not having to ask for help. And asking for help is that's something that I had to learn, that I have a support system just on a personal level, and that a lot of people who love you really just want to see you succeed. And if you just if you can plan things, yeah, your kids can be taken care of. And you know, my mom comes and folds my laundry for me so that I can go over to Sugar and Dice in the evenings. And so by being open about your needs, you're able to become an entrepreneur and really be your best self.
That's fantastic advice. And I agree, asking for help is so hard.
I
gets
wanted
easier.
to say it because it's very difficult. And I know it's something that I struggle with. So by being open about it, it allows other people to go, maybe I could do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
Kathy,
you.
I want to jump to you because you said you're not a risk taker at all, and here you are about to buy your third business. So how'd you move from that to that, and what advice would you give people?
Call Carla May. No,
I can't agree with you more on that one.
that is true, actually. There's two key people that enticed me to buy Western Driving School. One being Carla. She was my sounding board. I don't know how many coffees we've had. I can't count how many times I've called her or messaged her. And a 70-year-old lady who came back from Ontario, who opened her own business, but didn't have her driver's license. Her husband was getting dementia and needed her license. She didn't feel comfortable with any of the driving schools that was in Corner Brook because they were male owned and male instructed. So she asked me for private driving lessons in her vehicle. And she was one of the driving forces behind me. She told me that I had too much information in my head that I should be relaying it to students. I worked at motor registration for over 20 years, and 9 of those years was as a driver examiner. So I pretty well know all of the aspects for every different license, for every different program or service that they offer. So she was the integral part of me doing it. I don't know how many times I said to Carla, no, I can't do it. And then I'd phone her back, oh yeah, Carla, I'm going to do it. So the advice that I can give to anybody is that if you want it bad enough and you have the expertise behind you and you have a good sounding boards, good people such as Carol, who helped me tremendously because I was completely shut down for 3 months and I didn't know how I was going to survive. I only purchased the business in August and in March it was shut down. I had to come up with inventive ways to entice the government to let me do this. So if you want a business bad enough and you know your business, you do your research on what you know. And if you need more, research more, and always have in your back pocket good sounding boards such as Carla, Carol, Lynn. I have to say to Lynn as well, because I'm not a counting people person. I don't like sage. I can't stand it. So I went from 1 employee plus me to now 7 employees plus me. And I hired someone who was laid off due to COVID. So I do now have an office manager because I would not be able to function without her. My business is so busy. It's just phenomenal. I was told, no, don't go online. No one's going to want to do that. And then somebody compared me to Filtries funeral home. There's always going to be people to die, and there's always going to be people who wants their driver's license. That's what one person had said to me, right? So, yeah, that's what they did. Honestly, they compared me, and especially since I've acquired Stephenville and looking to acquire another one because I now can teach worldwide. So, Carol have created a monster story. But anyway, I went from working a 7-hour job to a 19-hour day for pretty well up till I hired in August someone who has been laid off and who's now running my office for me.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
You
And
did a great job.
A good business plan, a very good business plan. Make sure that you make connections with government who can give you free money, or a 90-10, 75-25. Make all those connections. And I learned all that going on the way. When I started, it was all money out of my own pocket. Onlaweg is a great supporter for me as well, as I am Indigenous, and they were a great support. Arlene White in Stephenville, and their main office is in Truro, and so they helped tremendously. So, and there are programs and services available through Hullabaloo, through Native Women's Association of Canada. There's services, there's all types of Indigenous services for hiring as well. Student programs. I hired 2 students last year, one federally and one through Hullabaloo. And I set them up working from home. All I had to do was buy a laptop, get my IT person, and that's the person too that I have to mention is Gary Mullins. Only for him, I would not have survived because I type help and he calls me immediately. Right? So, and that's 24/7 with Gary. So, a good computer system, good accounting, and I can go on and on and on. Was I frightened in March? Absolutely. Did I question myself? Absolutely. I said, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Then I took my socks and pulled them up. And I said, well, I guess as being an only child, that gave me the initiative, that I'm a fighter. And I went full bore. And I got my approval to go online, and it's just history in its making. In January, when it's normally dead in my business, I had to shut off applications. I had too many.
Wow.
Yeah. Because we try to just keep it. I can take up to 100 students at one time, but that's not being personable, and they're not going to learn what they need to learn to be a safe driver on the road. So I had to cut off my applications for January, and I'm almost near cutting off applications for February and March.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Congratulations. Daphne, I'll turn to you. What advice would you give someone looking at starting a business now?
I think from my, I think from hearing everybody, definitely connections and knowing people in the industry and knowing who to connect with, and definitely is a big one. For someone like me who don't have many connections here in Newfoundland, this is exactly what I think we're doing today, is joining as many associations and as many webinars, just to get to know people and to understand the lay of the land. And do definitely, like they said, do research and be positive. Being positive is important. I know I've had a couple of days when I said, oh my God, what did I do? And what's going to happen what's going to happen? And I have to really look at a lot of things, and it's scary, no doubt. It is scary. Working for a corporation for the past 30 years, I've always had an income. I never had to look for leads. And for me, the hardest part is leads. I'm really struggling in that area, is how do I how do I present myself and how do I sell myself? Because I'm not that type of person. I'm more of, I'm coming in, I'm here to help. I'm really enjoying more helping rather than, I'm more humble that way rather than selling myself. So I think it's really change. I'm learning to change that a little bit, and then trying to really build that type of courage to, sell yourself, and you have a lot to offer. So I think again, it's stay positive, reach out as much as possible, and just make those connections, because this connection is probably what's going to be the lifeline as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Connie, I'll turn to you, and then Becky and Evan, I'll wrap it up with you.
Wow, when can I add to all that? I think for me, I would tell somebody to be patient, take your time, do everything everybody just said. Don't forget to take care of yourself. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are the same way, heads down, full bore. Let's just do it. Let's just get her done, because that's the way we are. But take that minute to go for that walk. I'm an avid hiker. Usually if I'm not sitting in my computer, I'm down the bay somewhere on top of some hill, because I love them all. Take that time, and when you're out taking that time, meet people, listen to their stories. I talked to a woman the other day, and we had a beautiful conversation about the hiking trails down the bay and things we would do, and again, partnerships we should make, because we got ideas too, kind of thing. So be aware of what's around you, take care of yourself, form your partnerships. We're all here to help each other, I think, and I think that's something we learned in COVID, that we can work together. I'm finding the closetness is going away. Businesses are working with each other. If I can't help you, then I probably know somebody who can. Refer each other to other organizations. We all need to work together. We are working together. Just be aware of who's around. Take care of yourself. Do something for yourself too. The thing I did before I even came back to freelance writing when I lost my job, I needed to do something for me. So I finished my degree. I didn't have a bachelor's. I started one in 2008. So before I did anything, I finished that. I was almost finished 2 degrees at the time. One was business administration. Realized, holy shit, you need math for that. So I parked that right fast and finished my education degree. Now I'm going to try to pass my math placement test and do my business administration. But what I mean is, take your time, do something for yourself. Yeah, just make sure you're okay, because if you're not okay, it's easy when we're in our basements, which is where I work, to forget there's other people who will help you and are out there. So take that minute to like today is a beautiful sunny day. I've got interviews the rest of the afternoon, but somewhere I'm going to make time to do that half-hour walk, because that'll just help me, right? So take care of yourselves, eat the cookies, go for the walks. And I got to say, Diana, talking one more thing. When I graduated with my degree, it was during the pandemic. So I got no convocation. I couldn't see my friggin' stepdaughter. They had just moved home from Toronto. Couldn't see my grandson. So I got a cookie from your place, and it was so cool. It said, "Happy graduation, Nan," or something. It was like, oh my God. So I felt so good, so old, but so good. So your cookies are pretty freaking cool, and it was delicious.
I delivered that, Connie. I delivered that.
Did you really?
Thank
you so much. Because for a pandemic convocation, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool. And yeah, thank you.
If anybody wants to know, you can eat one by yourself, and they're really, really good. Then you go for the walk.
Then you have to go for that walk. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That would be my advice. Take care of yourself, because you can't take care of yourself or your business without taking care of yourself, and help each other. We're all there to help, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to turn it last over to Becky and Evan to wrap up for us. What advice would you give young entrepreneurs? You're just into it. You took the leap.
Yes. I guess our biggest piece of advice would be to avail of all of the help that is out there for you. I would agree with what everyone just mentioned, but all those fantastic points. Actually, Allison at Navigate was very helpful to us when we first started out. It was kind of daunting to get started as an official business and figuring out how do we get our business number and our HST numbers and all that kind of stuff. And she led us in the right direction, and it was super helpful. We also reached out to some people who are in our field, some photographers in town, and they were super helpful with helping us come up with contracts for our clients and things like that. And so definitely just reach out and see what's out there, who can help you in the best ways. Also to stay positive, as some other people mentioned, the pandemic will come to an end, and hopefully things will start to flourish a little more. And we were also very fortunate with our business that there's literally endless projects that we can take on. We're not confined to one particular thing. So we're very fortunate in that way, and it's forcing us to push our boundaries a little bit. But we're enjoying so far, and we really thank you for having us here today.
Excellent, thank you. Evan, I've got one question for you. Turning your love from 15 into a business, have you lost the excitement or the lure of doing what you do?
No, not really. Once I sort of realized I can actually, I sort of can watch myself sort of get a little bit more skill at making better quality content and stuff. So it's definitely not going away. It's if not getting more interesting as I go on, right? So
excellent. That's cool, because that's the one thing I worry about my daughter. If she wants to turn her baking passion into a business, will she lose the fun that she gets from baking? So I was just curious.
But you've got a great partner with your sister too.
I think too.
Yeah, it's definitely good for
once you get into it.
Could be.
Yeah, we fill in each other's gaps. I'm more of the communications business type side of it, and he's the creative editor. So it's been a great team system.
Mm-hmm.
And
Connie, you want to jump in on there too?
I think the more you do it, the more you love it. I think I find with writing, the more I write, the more stories I tell, the more I want to tell. I don't know if you got, I interviewed, last story, I interviewed Millie Walsh this week for a project I'm working on. And I don't know what some of you remember Millie. She lost her daughter, Sam, 21 years ago. And it's stories like that that really you want to push and you want to help tell other stories. I mean, I like Evan, you were probably just a little baby when she was, unfortunately, she was murdered. But it's stories like that that you walk away and you want to tell everybody's story. And I think the passion that we feel for what we do is what carries us through. And the more you do it, the more passionate you get. So I think she'll always be. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
We found that there's no better feeling than when you give someone a video. And actually, we did some Christmas videos for some families. They were just kind of private videos which showcase family that were living away. And so they said Merry Christmas as a gift to their grandparents. And just that feeling of making somebody cry, or it's just so special. So that's what we particularly love. And our mandate since we started is that we're not going to commit to anything unless we can do it with really high quality. And but yeah, just that feeling of knowing you made them feel a certain way is super special.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn to you, Allison.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in there just to make a comment about what Becky and Evan said. And I think it may have been Diana who mentioned earlier that having the right team, how important it is to have the right team and the right skill sets in place, as much as possible. I mean, I know oftentimes entrepreneurs are constrained to do everything themselves, but really getting that right support network in place and knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, and hiring people if you can for the things that aren't your strengths, so that you've got the the energy to really focus on the things that you're going to be able to use, the things that'll bring your business forward. I've heard a number of people say, I'm not a numbers person. Hire someone for that. It's as much as possible. And there are so many resources and supports out there that can help you do that. So before you try and do it all yourself, reach out to folks like Enlo, like us. We're here to help you figure out where you can get those supports so that you're not trying to do it all yourself.
Yeah, I would agree, Allison. And when Becky was speaking there, it resonates with me so well. Like to say that it fell in your lap and you make a good team. I feel the exact same way about myself and my partners. It did fall in my lap. I had started a business plan and didn't want to leave my job and was wondering how to do it. And this came up, and they're interior designers. So the whole, and Denise bakes. So the baking and the look of the place and being able to get that off the ground was a 3-person effort. And you know, some of us do want to take it on and take it all for ourselves, and sometimes it just works when you work together to come to a common goal.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, thank you. So I want to give a huge thank you to Becky and Evan, Connie, Kathy, Diana, and Daphne for being agreeing to be our panelists today. I want to thank everyone else that's joined us today and has also shared such valuable information about your organizations. Brent has his camera on, his contact info there, if anybody can zoom in on that. Very creative way to display his information. As I mentioned, this session is recorded. There's a slide up right now. There's a few things happening at Navigate. There's an internship program, deadline is today. Healthy Futures Forum is coming up in a week and a half. And our next Entrepreneur Ecosystem Coffee Break is February 18th. And I do believe registration is already open for that. So if you make your way to either my website or my Facebook page, Spicer Facilitation, you'll be able to see that. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn, Alan, Becky, and Evan. You folks are new into our community joining us today. Diana, yourself as well. Really happy to have you connect with some of the folks in our network. To my tried and true that keep on showing up, Carla, Brent, Andrew, Paul, thank you so much. And to, again, our guest panelists here today, we really appreciated your information. Coming soon, new Navigate website. If you're not on Allison's newsletter list, just send her permission to do that. And we do a follow-up email within, what, Allison, usually about a week or so. And we will be highlighting everyone, that all your information that you put in. We do a nice little wrap up and highlight everybody that joined. And as well, the recording will come out and be available through Navigate's social media.
And again, follow us on you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll get updates about all of the events that are coming up and all the different opportunities. We don't just post you know, our own events. We're also sharing opportunities that other funding agencies and organizations are promoting as well. And there's a lot of learning opportunities that are out there for free for entrepreneurs. So, you know, particularly on our Facebook page, you'll be able to find a lot of that. So I encourage you to follow that. And also, again, stay tuned for the launch of the website. There's going to be a ton of tools on there and the ability to promote your business as well.
Yep. One program we didn't mention, so we've got Ulnaweg if you are an Indigenous background. We've got Enlo, targeted to women entrepreneurs, but as Carla mentioned, anyone can be a member of the organization. Andrews with the Francophone community. There's also Futurepreneurs. Scott Andrews often joins us, and so Becky and Evan, certainly a group that you'd want to connect with. For Futurepreneurs is for young entrepreneurs. Again, to avail of programming, you need to be of a certain age, but you can actually take learning from them at any age. So they've had business writing workshops, they've had you know, different, or business plan writing workshops, sorry, and different things in their series. But you don't have to be in that.
They've got a great online business plan writer tool that you can use on their website, and that's available to anyone.
Yeah, and Ulnaweg, Arlene White that Kathy mentioned, she's got a fantastic toolkit for Indigenous entrepreneurs, because it weaves that piece in about, you know, how that connects to the culture and stuff, which is another layer if you're starting a business in the Indigenous community. And again, as Paul and Brent and have mentioned, there's lots of government funding programs that you may be eligible for. So just keep asking. One of these days, I'm like Wayne Gretzky. I keep firing a lot of shots and sometimes they score. But every shot you don't take is a missed goal, as they say. So So thank you, everyone. I know we ran a little bit long, but it was great conversation. I didn't want to cut it short. Thank you, Allison, once again for bringing me in to facilitate this for you on your behalf. And we're now into our second year of our Coffee Break Connections. So glad, and we couldn't do it without you folks that are attending. So thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.